goblin character from our D&D game, Flick, who comes from Heck.
Oh,
Hek. That is the name of the land, the region where Flick is from. And so Hekkin Goblins obviously is a play on words because it's like, man, those Hekkin Goblins, but it's also the goblins from Heck. That's actually where they're from. So a little bit of fun
that's fun.
with that.
I actually didn't know
So
that
I
was
have
the
Ian
reason for
with
the
me.
title.
Yes. Everything in world or world adjacent to what I've created. But I have Ian and Mike with me, and we are going to playtest this. So Mike's coming in raw. He has no idea what any of this is about.
I saw the Hekkin Goblins pop up in Discord a few months ago, and I have no idea what. I did not know it was a game.
Yeah. So yes, Trillium, we're giving you time to catch up. Time to catch up on Legacy. That's exactly totally the reason you caught us. We're so nice. But yeah, so Mike is coming in with no knowledge. We need at least one noob. Any good playtest need to have a good mix of people who, can kind of run it, and then those who have never played it before. So we're just gonna have some fun with this. We're gonna roll through the game. I'll introduce it. We'll go through character creation, and we'll go through kind of the gist of the game. It's a very bare bones game. The whole idea is that it's a one page. So the PDF that we're working on, that's basically got, if you're a player, you just need the one page, tells you everything to do. If you're the GM, you've got a second page that gives you some scenarios and stuff that you can roll. And then you just need a couple of D6. That's it. That's literally all you need for this game. Very, very simple. The mechanics, so it's not a D20, it is a D6 system. And basically you roll 2D6 for everything in the game. And you have a few stats that you put some values into. And then you roll with those stats and to see what happens. Basically, the way this game works is you want to get a low roll. A low roll is good. So if you get a 1, 1 is a success. 6 is terrible, horrible, and very bad. So it's the opposite of rolling. Like, you don't roll high. It's more like golf where you want to get low. That's the goal of things. We'll get into that as we go. So if you're in chat, feel free to ask questions and give us feedback as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this because this is brand new playtest. We're putting it out there just to see what happens. So feedback.
I'm going to correct one thing right away. It is you only roll 1d6 as a standard roll.
Yes.
2d6 is if you're wounded.
That's wounded, right? I was looking at the wounded part, the injuries and death, as I was reading that. So see, we don't even know we're on game. It's great.
Even easier. You only have to roll 1 die and read a number.
I look forward to rolling 2 dice most of the game.
Well, the good news is the wounds don't last long. You either fix them or you die. So
yeah, it's true.
Hey, short stream for Mike tonight.
Let me introduce the game, and then we'll go through creating a goblin. I'll basically go through the PDF step by step, as if we're all looking at this for the first time. We'll talk about gold coins system and how that works. We'll talk about making checks, how you can spend your gold coins, and then how the GM actually sets up the game and goes from there. So without further ado, or adieu, I don't know, how would Flick say adieu?
Without further crap, let's move on.
There you go. That sounds a lot better. Here's the deal. You're a goblin from Heck. A Hekkin Goblin. And you've all been enslaved by insert bad guy here. What matters is that slavers are bad, and as the goblins, you are the heroes. Or the not bad guys, at least. It's time for the goblins to make a move and fight back. The goal is to escape and earn your freedom. But short of that, causing some trouble and mayhem to get back at the big bads is totally acceptable. So tighten your guts, get slinking, dust off your smarts, and razzle that dazzle, because you're Hekkin Goblins and you're ready for action. So the first step in the game is to create your goblin. So Ian has done some fantastic work in Roll20, creating some character sheets and putting all the mechanics in, because he has them smarts.
And I made sure the font was Comic Sans just to really hammer it home and exactly how amateurish this is meant to be.
Yeah. So Mike, Ian, and I all have character sheets. So I'm going to be sort of running the game, but also playing as well, since we're doing this playtest, and we need a few gobbos in action here. But so the character sheets are very basic. And as a goblin, you have 4 stats to choose from. But before we get to there, it's important that every goblin has a good goblin name. It can be anything you want. You usually have names based on traits, nicknames, etc., like spoons, fidget, grease bag, rat food. The more outrageous the last name, the better. So says Fingers McSludge Bucket, distant relative of Flick Dog Slicer.
I mean, we're all distant relatives if you look far enough. We're not too far.
Short, close, distant relatives. So yeah, let's create our characters and let's pick some absolutely ridiculous names.
Yeah, I got to work ahead, so I already have a name picked. So you'll be seeing the exploits of Flick's old Uncle Scab. Scabrous Tick Bite.
I've asked Trill for help with a name, and so Trill has said Smelto, and because I'm hearing the O, I'm gonna have to go with Smelto Barfbins.
Oh, see, I was thinking Smelto Delta would also be.
That's what I was thinking. Smelto Delta would.
Smelto Delta. Okay, all right. You know what? I like your guys' idea better. Smelto Delta. Now, do I spell Delta properly? Probably not. No, Smelto Delta like that is perfect. Smelto Delta. Love it.
I think we're gonna go something just silly here. We'll go with Goober. Goober, the first name, and last name. What's a good last name for Goober?
Snot Bucket.
Snot, yeah. I think that's good. Goober Snot Bucket. All right, I've got Goober Snot Bucket. Okay, so at this point, optional is to create a brief description of your goblin. So let's do that. We'll each give just a very brief once over of what our gobble looks like. You know, what their hairstyle, maybe what kind of ears they have, color of their eyes. You know, how many warts and rashes, any particular stenches that emanate off of them. You know, it's good for our gobbles to have some characters. So, Ian, since you have you've got Scab kind of in hand and prepared ahead of time, why don't you give us a bit of a description?
Pretty bog standard. Have you ever seen the art for the Pathfinder goblins? They are gorgeous little football-headed guys with the big knife ears. He's got a chomp out of one ear from a fight he got into when he was a youngin. That sawtooth of sharp little teeth and beady red eyes, the whole 9 yards. But yes, it's the missing half of one ear. That's the notable feature on old Scab here.
That's amazing. I love it. Mike, why don't you give us a brief description of Smelto Delto?
All right. Trill is doing a lot of the legwork here for me, which is lovely. Trill, keep it up. So Smelto Delto.
Trill, you're gonna have to play next time in our playtest.
It's true. Trill writes, turns out Smelto's great something or other's toes actually smelled like lilacs, but of course, No goblins enjoyed that smell, so nobody appreciated the fragrant feet of said ancestor. So Smelto Delto has uncharacteristically sweet-smelling toes, and nobody likes it. No warts on him. He's in fact wartless, and that's part of what makes him such an aberration to the goblins. Hence the name.
He's
Smelto.
actually a halfling in disguise.
Smooth skin.
Somebody just cast disguise self on themselves and made themselves look like a goblin.
Who would ever do that?
I think Smelto to me sounds a little bit like a bit of a dopey name. So I think instead of the pointy ears, he's got the German Shepherd ears that never pointed. They kind of go up and then they flap.
Oh, nice. nice.
That's amazing.
You will never get hit because call up memories of dogs for Craig, so he will do it at all costs.
Yeah.
Got to remind him of your droopy ears and you're set.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. All right, Goober Snot Bucket. I think given that name, he's got a giant schnoz. Probably most of his face is nose, with tiny little beady eyes. He's got misshapen ears. One is longer than the other, but his nose is definitely his most prominent characteristic. He's got an overbite, so the bottom of his chin just kind of like disappears and goes up into his mouth. And based on his facial structure and the size of his nose, there's just always like goop just dripping off of him. Nice. He actually dresses very well for a goblin, meaning he's covered in filth always. But it's hard to take him seriously because of the size of that schnookin right there. Yeah, that would be Goober Snot Bucket. So
love it.
All right. So we've got our names and some characteristics established for our gobos. Now we come to choosing our stats. So there are 4 primary stats for this game: guts, razzle dazzle, slinking, and smarts. So guts is essentially how tough and strong you are. Razzle dazzle is your charisma, your riz, as the kids say these days. Slinking obviously is how stealthy and secretive you can be, and then smarts is your intelligence. So just 4 stats, very, very simple. And the way that we choose our stats, so there's 3 options for arrays that you can put into your stats. So either 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3, 4, or 2, 2, 5, 5. Now, you'll have to refresh my memory. Did we say we could put those in anything, or did it have to be in that order?
I think I'd say put them in anything. It doesn't make sense.
I think that's what we said, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can either have it pretty evened out, where you have one that has 2, 3, one with 4, one with 5, 2 with 3, 2 with 4, or a big discrepancy with 2 with 2 and 2 with 5. So
2 dump stats and 2 main stats. That's
yeah. So it depends on how average you want your goblin to be, or how min-maxed. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll just create.
Let me think.
Stat editor characters.
Are we sharing with each other what we're doing, or are we just doing?
Yeah.
So I was initially.
This is all we're talking. We'll say it out loud. We'll share it all right now.
I was initially thinking that a goblin who is despised for his lovely smelling feet, maybe not the most gutsy or the most charismatic, but probably slinky and smart. So I was going to go 2, 2, 5, 5. Guts and razzle dazzle be 2.
Do it.
Slinky. It's like that's the fastest way to kill him. It's lovely.
So on your character sheet there, you can either just use the arrows. To put them in, or just put your numbers right in there. And Ian has created these sheets so that in order to roll, when it comes up to a check, just click on that guts, razzle dazzle, slinking, or smarts, and it'll automatically roll that d6 with that modifier in mind there. So well done, Ian. Really appreciate that.
Go team.
What does Scab got for? So we got 2, 2, 5, 5 for.
I think I'm gonna take the spread out one. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna go. He is not the sharpest knife in the shed. Give him a 2 smarts, 3 guts, pretty sneaky fella, but he's all about the razzle dazzle.
Not the sharpest apple on the tree. All right. Well, for good playtest, I guess I'll go 3-4-3-4 then. So I think Gobbo is probably pretty gutsy. So we'll give him a 4 in that. And this is tricky because I don't think he's gonna be very slinky because of his schnoz and dripping goobers. So he's surprisingly charismatic because what goblin doesn't love a big snot ball. So I'll go 4-4-3-3 then. So we'll have guts 4, razzle dazzle 4, and then slinking and smarts will each be 3. I think that'll work out well. Okie dokie. So we've got a pretty rounded cast of characters, which I think will serve us very well. All right. The next step is to count your gold coins. So you start every session with 3 gold. So on your character sheet, you can actually just click that 3 under gold coins, and it will turn yellow or gold. And whenever you go up or down in coins, you can just click on said gold coin number and it will change. So we all start with 3 gold coins. So you can only have a maximum of 5 at any time. So if you have 5, you're unable to gain any more. I guess since we're doing gold coins, should I skip ahead to the spending gold coins port, or should I just go through the how to play first?
Sure, whatever.
Well, I'll jump ahead to the gold coins. So gold, it's not very useful for goblins other than, eating for a nice snack. But it's not really something that they value because they don't really have a use for it. So goblins want to get rid of their gold and exchange it for other things, useful things. Heavy pockets is not good for sneaking, so you want to spend those coins. So here's what you can do with your gold coins. You can spend 1 coin to remove an injury. You can spend all your coins to avoid death. You can spend 1 coin to roll a second D6 on a check, which can turn a success into a failure. It turns a failure into mixed results into success, and a success into a super awesome critical success. You can spend X number of coins to aid a fellow goblin's actions. You roll an extra D6 for each coin spent, take the lowest results. Same, you can spend X number of coins to do something incredible, magical, or nigh impossible. So there isn't really, there's no classes in this game, and there's no magic, there's no specific spells or anything like that. The way it works is that if, let's say you have a goblin who's particularly smart and has maybe done some book learning and picked up a spell or gleaned a scroll, you essentially just tell the GM you want to try this. And in order to do that, you can spend coins determined by the GM. He'll determine how many coins are necessary and sort of how awesome the outcome is. So you want your goblin to cast a magnificent fireball that smells like rotten eggs. Then the GM would say, okay, that's going to cost you all your gold coins to do that because it's pretty magnificent. And then you would spend all your coins, and smelly rotten egg fireball would happen. You can earn gold during the adventure by finding loot, completing scenarios, doing awesome goblin things, or just bribe your GM with food like a good Hekkin Goblin would. Or I guess that for playing virtually, bribe with other things. So yeah, it's pretty, the idea is that it's very open to interpretation, right? It's not like you can't do this, you can only do this. Essentially, it's between the GM and the player to just kind of have fun with it, very loose that way. So you decide you want to do something cool, you explain that cool thing, and the GM says, yeah, sure, here's how that's going to come to be, but you need to spend this number of coins.
Or I suppose we should also specify that they could say it doesn't cost you any of your coins. It could just be a skill check instead.
That's true. Yeah. So it's all up to the like everything in any game, it's all up to the GM. So don't go ahead of time and be like, I'm going to spend 3 gold coins to do this and cast magic missile at the guy. It doesn't work that way. Declare your intent, and the GM will tell you how broke you're going to be after, or if it just happens. So we'll get to that as it goes, as we play through. All right, the important part, the how to play. So there are checks that are made. There is no initiative in this, so there's no combat rolls, there's no attack and defense, none of the stats, there's no hit points, there's nothing like that. Everything is just about simple checks. So whenever you want to do something in game, the Goblin Master or GM, Game Master, will tell you which stat to use, and you will roll a d6 with the stat that you've been asked to roll with, and you will see what happens. A success, if you roll under your score for that stat, you carry out your planned action successfully. So this is where the rolling low comes into play. So for example, if your stat for guts is 4, and it has been determined by the Goblin Master that for the feat that you want to attempt, you need to roll guts, then your roll must be lower than 4.
So 1, 2, or 3. It can't be 4.
So
sorry, I'm sorry. Let you talk. That's what I need to do.
That is covered. That is covered.
Yes, a success is 1 through 3.
Yes. So if you roll under your stat, it is a success. If your roll ties your stat, this is called a mixed result, meaning both something good and something not good happened. Not necessarily something bad or horrible, but it didn't quite go as well as expected. So there might be a hiccup in the plan. You picked the lock, but it was very noisy, and the troll down the hallway is now aware that something has transpired. A failure is if you roll over your score for that stat. The GM will punish you accordingly, obviously. A natural 1 is always a success, perhaps spectacularly so. Up to the GM, depends on what it is. And a 6 is always a terrible, horrible, very bad failure. You never ever want to roll a 6. If you roll a 6, it's bad. Something bad is going to happen. So yeah, try to avoid 6s. Don't want them. Injuries and death. Failing a check will most often result in an injury. And when you are injured, you must roll 2d6 for stat checks and choose the higher. That would be the worst result. An injury you get during a scene remains until the end, after which you can spend 1 gold to remove it. If you start a scene injured, it heals itself after the scene is finished, and you can cheat death. But you might end up with a gruesome injury at the GM's whim. Depends on how macabre and vengeful your GM is. But yeah, so if you get injured, that's where you're going to be rolling 2 of these 2d6s, and you have to take the higher one.
I need d6s.
Well, you can just roll in the. So remember, the character sheets have it preset there. You
Got an auto roller in the sheet already, man.
True.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be a good Hekkin Goblin, I need my click clack rocks.
You need your click clack. Yeah, shiny click clack rocks. That's right. Be a good dice goblin. So basically, there's no hit points or anything like that. You can get injured twice. The second injury results in death, unless you have enough gold coins to spend to avoid that death.
Buy yourself out of death.
Yeah. So essentially, you fail a check, you get injured. You fail a check a second time, you die. Goblins are squishy. These goblins are squishy. And but yeah, if you're gonna die and you have enough gold coins to spend, perhaps you can get away with that with maybe just a worse injury, or however nice the GM is feeling. Perhaps you just have a miracle and just completely avoid death.
So a quick question for Mike. Does the auto healing thing make sense? Because I know it's a little convoluted, but
we've played. What did we play? Was it that 16 Candles game where there were scenes?
10
right?
candles.
Right.
10 candles where there were scenes. So encounters are scenes.
More or less, yeah.
More or less. And
if
so
you're
once
injured
that encounter's
during an
finished,
encounter, you you finish the encounter and you do an entire other encounter while injured, then the wound goes away.
Yeah.
Just you start a scene injured, like it's that middle of the paragraph. So an injury you get during a scene remains until the end, and you can spend a gold to remove it, or
okay, yep, I did misunderstand that. Thank you.
Or you can carry that injury forward, and if you successfully live through another encounter, then the injury goes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we might need to punch up to detail that text a little better.
That's true. We'll clarify that in the PDF. That's good for it's when you speak things out with words and as opposed to just reading with your eyes the words. Sometimes things become more clear. So
yes.
Good.
Yeah, I knew that one was a little clunky, and
yeah, we'll have to fix up the wording on that.
Yep.
For sure.
I should make some note. I'm going to open up Notepad and make sure that I take some notes.
That sounds fantastic.
Fix up wording on.
All right. While you're doing that, so I'll give an example of a scenario. Okay, so this will give us an idea of what a particular scenario looks like. Okay. So this is a very rules light system. The whole idea, again, is it's very open-ended, quick to learn, easy to play. You just need a handful of dice. You can sit down and play very, very quickly. So here's an example scenario. The goal is to free the prisoners from the ogres. GM, you can see a distracted ogre up ahead, leaning against the wall, lazily picking at multiple orifices and licking his fingers afterward. Fleahole, gross. I bet we could distract him. Scratchy, more than he is already? Shouldn't be hard. Nubs. So we throw some rocks past him and sneak up while he checks it out. Easy greasy. GM. Okay, I need 2 checks. One to distract the orifice explorer and a second to sneak. We'll deal with the first one and see what happens. Fleahole, roll some razzle dazzle to try and distract him. Fleahole rolls. I got a 4, which ties my razzle dazzle stat. Okay, so you succeed in chucking a tasty looking turd. GM says, you're perfect. You chuck it past the ogre and get his attention, but he doesn't move toward it, just stares that way in confusion, one finger fully lodged in his ear. He's really confused and definitely distracted, but he's still close to the cages. So it's an example of a mixed result. The intention was to try and distract the ogre by throwing something so that the ogre would look and go and investigate. But since the goblin rolled equal to his stat, then it was only partial, right? So the ogre was distracted, but didn't move towards said distraction, just kind of half distracted. So that's just how it works. The GM describes something. The goblins say what they want to try and do. GM says, okay, here's the stat that you're going to roll for that. You roll it, and depending on what the result is, the GM describes how things proceed from there. The GM ultimately gets to decide what success and failure looks like, how to reward successes, how to punish failures, and what a mixed results in. It's all about just having some fun. So this is a very, very light, fun game. If you're very rules lawyery and everything has to be exactly the way, it's probably isn't the game for you. It's just a game for fun. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. Just enjoy. Or goblins. Goblins don't take things seriously. Or they take things too seriously. One or the other. All right. So we are going to, normally the GM would have a scenario kind of rolled out beforehand, just like any game, doing your game prep, unless you're super lazy GM. They'll be lazy GM. So we're going to roll out some scenario tables, which again, Ian has just before we started the game, actually, he's thrown into Roll20 because
banged it all in.
He'd a master like that. I'll briefly just explain what these scenarios are. Mike, if you want to bring the PDF up onto
Yep, I can do that.
Screen.
See if this is just copy paste.
I think if you just open, I put the PDF in the
There we go.
The rules
thing
don't
there. So
work in progress.
Yeah, if I click on it, it goes to Firefox, and right now I have Windows Explorer,
okay.
Internet
Okay.
Explorer, Edge on top. So, but now it's there. It's there. Everybody can see.
Okay. So if you want to go to the second page, so this is what the GM would see. So there are these scenario tables, and this is how the GM determines what each game session is going to be all about. So you're going to choose the elements that fit, or roll from the random elements from the following tables, or this is obviously just suggestions. So as a GM, you're free to just kind of make up whatever you want. This isn't a, you must choose from these tables. Like any good RPG or TTRPG, you have the guide, and then you take it from there and make it your own for your table. That's fully the intent. Make it your game. So for each scenario, you need a setting. And again, all of these are intended to be used as a D6 as well. So you don't need anything more than a D6 to set up these scenarios as well. So the first thing we need is a setting. So let's go ahead and roll a random setting. Basically, the ones we have kind of preset are mines, slave camp, jungle, or forest, by the seaside, maybe a slave ship, or a prison. So Ian, when you want to roll, let's say a setting and see what we get. Oh, that was from before. Okay, mines. Okay, I'm actually going to write these out on the on our map here so that we have them.
Good call.
So we're in the mines. Okay. We have our setting. Now in these mines, there's a threat. Orcs, undead have shown up for some reason. A bunch of human thugs that are enslaving the goblins. Perhaps some devilish fiends, a group of ogres, or some sort of invaders. Mike, why don't you click roll on the threat rollable table, or roll a d6?
I say I don't see the threat roll table, so I'm just gonna.
If you go in collection on
Collection.
roll 20, second from the right.
Oh, collection. Okay. I rolled the 6 though.
Rollable tables. Rolled a 6.
Yep.
So invaders.
Acceptable. That could be open for interpretation.
Very much could be, yes.
Tornado
All right, so
riding
we are-
invaders, says Trill.
Yes. Yep. Amazing. Yep. They're coming to steal the airplane. Just let us. If you don't get that, go watch our last Quiet Your stream.
Yep.
Okay. Villain's Lair. So there's usually a main villain that is the one who's in charge of the slavers or in charge of the goblins, kind of the overarching threat here. So I'll go ahead and roll on the Villain's Lair. Tower. Okay, so we've got
yes, the typical tower mines tower.
yes. Well, I mean, there's a mines and there's a tower that's kind of like
the tower next to the mine entrance.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't have to be in the mines. I got it.
That's right. I think that makes sense. So there's a tower that's overlooking the mines. Next, we have an archetype for our villain. So who exactly is this villain?
All right,
Ian.
How? What do we got? Cult leader.
Oh, we got a cult leader. Okay. So there's a cult leader in their tower controlling the mines. And there's some of our invaders are coming in. Interesting. Okay. So what is this cult leader's motivation? We have a number of motivations there. So Mike, if you want to roll up some motivation for us.
I rolled a 4, so sacrifice/ritual.
Sacrifice.
That fits a cult leader.
It really does. Let's say ritual. All right. And we need a personality for this cult leader.
Oh, please, germaphobe.
That'd be interesting. Let's see.
The ritual cleansing.
A narcissist.
Ooh.
Also very fitting.
That's good too. That's good too. Yep.
We can fix that real soon.
Narcissist. Yeah, I can spell. Very fitting for a cult leader. They are usually very narcissistic. All right. And as the goblins, what is our main goal? So the idea here is that the main goal isn't always going to be we need to go kill the cult leader, overthrow everything. It could be that, or it could be something smaller for this particular scenario. And then depending on how things go, if your goblins live, then you can kind of go on from there. But our immediate goal for our goblins, I think we're back to Ian rolling here. Total mayhem and destruction.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So this is why we said that you're not necessarily the heroes in the story. You're the
non-villains. That's completely different.
Yep.
You're the non-villains. All right. So we are a group of goblins who are enslaved in the minds of a cult leader who's up in his tower, a very narcissistic individual. And his tower, he keeps his tower all to himself. And the goblins are down in the mines. And we are mining for very specific gems and ores that this cult leader needs in order to perform his ritual. He's got a big fancy ritual that he's planning, very secretive, and all we know is that we're digging up the stuff that he needs, gold and gems and things like that, precious ores and materials in order for him to carry out his ritual. Turns out that somebody comes in to raid the mines. All we hear about is that there are some invaders. Somebody has come. Perhaps there's a band of heroes that have come to disrupt this cult leader's plans. And being the goblins that we are, we decide that this is the perfect opportunity to just completely cause mayhem and destruction and just do whatever we can to throw a wrench into this cult leader's plans and screw things up from the inside. So that is our setting. That is what's going to get us going, and we'll kind of take it from there. So give me a second to get my brain juices flowing here. So as this playtest, because we're going right from raw here, and we wanted to kind of showcase all the tables and everything. So there's no pre-planned written out scenario, and there never will be for this game either. There's not going to be like a handbook that's got all the ideas and stuff. The whole idea is that it's just a PDF. It's got the tables, it's got some basic ideas, and you take it and you run with it and you go from there. Okay. Scab, Smelto, and Goober. You are working away as part of one particular chain gang among many down in the deep levels of the mine. You're in some of the newer tunnels. As up above, resources have become sparse as all the veins have already kind of been mined out. And so the cult leader, he needs a name. We need a name for this guy.
Trill? We need a name for the bad guy.
I thought you were suggesting Trill.
No, sorry. No.
Oh, hey, if you want to name our cult leader Trillium, I'm sure that would be a...
What about beryllium?
Ooh.
Yeah. I have to go with it now. Okay. So the
Phil
cult
says,
leader.
whoa.
The cult treasurer.
Beryllium has ordered new mines to be dug. Needs more gold, needs more precious minerals and jewels and everything that you can get your hands on in there. He's very greedy. And he, the very few times that he's seen kind of standing out on the balcony in his tower, he's totally bedecked with, he's got a robe that's covered in gems, very gaudy, especially from a goblin's point of view, right? It's just, wearing all these fancy white robes and all that stuff. It's disgusting. But he's got kind of gems and everything all over him. And he just wants more. And it's all for this mysterious ritual. And we've been sent down into the lower mines in order to start excavating and digging and finding some new veins of minerals. And there's a moment during one of our excavations where we hear some chaos coming from up the mines, some shouting and some yelling. And our guard, let's say, we'll just go with they're humans. We got some just a bunch of random nasty humans here. Takes a look at us and says, "You three stay right here. There's some chaos going on. I got to go take a look and find out what it is." And there's a moment where we have an opportunity to just be by ourselves, to slack off, as the human has gone not very, very far, but he's gone kind of up the tunnel to investigate and see what's going on. What do we do?
So I'm assuming if we're on a chain gang, then we're like chained, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Typical from the mines. Typically in a mine, that's you're gonna have some chains. That's
I think,
go ahead.
I think with the guard gone, Smelta will take this opportunity to try to work his way out of the chains or find a way to unlock the chains using his smarts.
Ooh.
okay. So
That's
using your
Assuming that's how this game
giant,
works.
so using your giant goblin brain, you want to see if you can figure out. Now, are you just like thinking it through, like this is how I could do it, or are you actually attempting?
I think what Smelto's going to try to do is try to find something that he could use to jimmy the locks.
Okay. So yes, go ahead and roll smarts for me, please.
All right, this one I will roll on the character sheet. I rolled a 5.
Your smarts is 5. Oh dear.
Your smarts is 5. Okay. So that would be a mixed result then. So we'll say that Smelto actually manages to find a shard of one of the poorly crafted picks. These picks aren't the best, and in the process of chipping away at the rock and the veins, a shard of metal has actually popped off one of these picks, and you determine that this shard is actually the perfect size. The tip is just right to be able to get down into the mechanisms of the lock and to pick it. Unfortunately, it's rather sharp since it is a shard of metal, and you don't quite injure yourself. But in the process of freeing yourself, you do prick your thumb and you let out a loud "ow!"
That sounds about right.
Ow, 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 echoes up the tunnel. I think Gruber looks at you and says, "Hey, what are you yelling about?"
I think we need to work fast.
Well, you actually got that off of your ankle. Can you get it off of the two of us?
I could certainly try. I will try.
I think you managed to. We'll just say the mixed result was that you let out that scream at the beginning, but in the process you figured out how to get it off so that you're a little bit more careful when it comes to the other two goblins. You're able to
Awesome.
Okay, let me just wrap some cloth around it, and then that's a little bit better. So the chains clink, clink to the ground, fall away.
Dance of freedom. Da, 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 da. All right. Well, fellas, what now? Where the hell are we going? I don't understand. Explain in small words.
Smelto, you want to make a run for it, or what? What's the idea here? You're the smart one.
I am pretty sure that we need to bring this whole place down. Like just right on top of our heads. Or his head.
I'm on board. How are we going to do that?
What if the guard comes back?
Punch
his lights out, maybe.
You guys can.
Well, give me a minute. I could get a big sticky gob of snot and I'll throw at him. It'd be gross. As long as I don't eat it first.
Scab is now hefting his pickaxe. He's like, well, now that we're not swinging it at the wall, figure it can go into someone's ankle or a knee. Maybe higher if I can get up there, but
maybe I can
slow it down.
Maybe I could hide by them stairs and set up a little tripwire, trip them, and then you can, give them one of those over the head.
What's a tripwire?
You put
a string.
You put a rope along the bottom step, and then he trips on it.
Ah, right.
And the rope is like a wire. He trips.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
At this point, you hear the sound of running feet. It sounds like the guard is returning, and in a hurry. You can kind of hear from up the hallway that bit of huffing as well that seems out of breath.
All right. Here's what the plan is. Scab's going to try and distract the guard while you get the tripwire set up at the bottom of the stairs. So you can get it set up in secret. I will be rodeo clowning for you.
Okay.
I will I'll keep mining at the wall here so that at least we got the sound of the tink. It sounds like we're still working away.
Oh, you might be working, but I'll be dancing. Scab is busting a move over here. Hey, God, look at me. I'm free. You better come get me.
Oh, that sounds good. All right, so we have a few checks then that are going to take place here. So I think Smelto, so you're using your smarts again.
Well, I'm also slinking. I'm trying to sneak.
Slinking?
I'm trying to sneak, and then I'm trying to smart.
Okay. I think all in all, I guess to set up a tripwire, just a rope, this isn't too brain taxing. So I think this will be a slinking.
All right.
But in order for you to slink over there successfully, this is kind of depending on Scab's distraction. Is that correct?
That's the hope, yes.
All right.
That's
so
fair, yeah.
Scab, go ahead and roll me a razzle dazzle.
Damn straight. How's a one work for you, buddy?
That is a natural success. So again, a 1 is always good in this game. A 6 is bad. So you dance like you've never danced before. You're a maniac on the floor.
The little booty shake and everything, it's all there.
And it's so perplexingly good and horrible at the same time that as the guard comes running back, he kind of stops at the top of the stairs and he just looks down. What? And just slowly starts walking down the stairs, completely distracted. So that distraction has worked wonderfully. Doesn't even see Smelto moving towards the stairs. So go ahead and give me a slinking.
All right.
Smelto.
Slinking. Oh, 1.
Yeah.
Another 1. Okay.
Bingo.
The guard is so distracted. You're able to you kind of use one end of the pick, hook it around a railing, and pull it tight, and then hide at the bottom of the stairs. And the guard is just coming down, and at first he's just like, you can see him anger, and he's so mesmerized by Scab's dance that he actually see him smile and go, "Oh, you got some pretty good moves." And he just walks down and just foot right into that rope and just trips and face plants right down on the ground. And because you both rolled a 1, the guard puts his hands out to try and break his fall. And he's got a ring on his finger that happens to be a little bit sharp. And as he falls, he actually and he bleeds out.
What an idiot. All right, let's get the hell out of here.
That was good. I like that dance, Scab. I'll remember that one.
There's more where that came from, baby.
I don't know. I think it might have been your picking in the
Wipes
background.
The goobers off and goes to like shake your hand.
Oh yeah, I'll take that goober shake for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good luck in goblin culture.
And then
The more goobery, the better. That's it. And then flick the hair back. Right?
Yep.
All right. So you get to the top of the crude stairs leading up to the mid-level of the mine. Now, the good thing about the lower levels being down there is that they've just started to be activated. So there's not a whole lot of activity going on. You're one of the parties that's kind of scouting out a couple of different possible mine shafts to see where there's some good veins. So there's not too much activity happening. And as you get to the upper level, or the next level up, you can hear from down sort of the main passage of the mine. There's like the main tunnel, those little branches off, and you come up to the main tunnel of this level, and you can hear sword clashes and fighting. You hear some screams, and it sounds like there's some turmoil that's going on. And you see a couple of goblins on cleanup duty nearby. They're basically in charge of picking up buckets of rock and moving them out of the way to kind of clear the tunnels. A couple of older goblins seem completely oblivious to everything that's going on around them. They've really been worked to the point where they're very dutiful goblins. They've lost their guts, lost their will, and they're just kind of the dutiful slaves. But they seem a little bit closer to the action, at least. But they're just, one of them kind of looks up at you, just goes back to shoveling up some rocks, put it in a bucket.
Well, are we stirring up an entire revolt here, or are we just causing our own mayhem there, fellas?
What's the Smelto's plan?
Yeah,
What we're doing, Smelto?
A little bit of both. I mean, it would be nice if we could rescue, our people, but ultimately, I just want to see this whole thing come crashing down with beryllium.
I don't know what it ultimately is, but crashing down sounds good.
Yeah.
Here's the plan. I'm gonna go bust those cats out. I got a pickaxe.
Okay. So as you come closer to them with your pickaxe, they both kind of stop and they just look at you. You can see like there's the light in their eyes that's just gone out. Like they've been here really, really long, like 3 months, which is like eternity for goblins.
Yeah.
They're the old crew right now. They're seasoned and they've just lost their fight. So they don't even question. They just see coming up and they're just like, hey, what's he doing?
Well,
Do you want to
hopefully,
use your pickaxe?
yes, I'm gonna try and break their chains with the pickaxe.
All right. So this is definitely going to be a guts.
Not my strong suit, but we'll see how it goes. Might have another one in me. Let's see.
Come on.
Oh, it's a 3. So that's a mixed.
So guts, your score for guts is 3.
Yes. So yeah, blue square around it says I've tied.
Oh.
Green success,
Oh,
blue
yeah,
tie,
I see
red
that.
fail.
There we go. Look at that. Amazing. Okay. So you managed to hit the what do you call it?
The manacle,
Chain?
the chain,
Manacle.
the
That's
lock.
it. Yeah, the manacle. Shackles. Those are the words I was looking for. And you break it.
Sweet.
But in the process, you actually break that goblin's ankle.
Well, shit. I told you to hold still.
You just what'd you do that for?
I mean, obviously, I didn't mean to break your friggin' foot, dummy.
At this, you see the other one start to look up towards the tunnel, and you get the idea that he's about to call for help. Because remember, these two have been really completely
They are broken.
inundated.
Yes.
They're broken. They're the good slaves. So this one's about to call for a guard to come and help.
Goober, don't let him yell.
All right. Big snotty fist, and Goober was going to attempt to knock him out clean with a punch to the head. So this will be a guts roll for Goober, and that's a 2. So that is a success.
Nice.
So Goober just big old snotty fist and just hits the other one in the face, and he just kind of, you see the jaw just kind of, that slow motion like wiggle, a couple teeth go flying off to the side, and it just drops. The other one's holding his ankle, crying. Seems nullified though. Not really to cry out for help. He's just nursing his broken ankle. He's free. He's not going anywhere. The other one still is shackled, but is also unconscious and is not going to call for help. So there's that.
I will point the freed one to the unconscious one, say, why don't you get him loose and then go that way and find others. Get them loose too. I'll say, listen, now is the time for our people to rise up. We are going to overthrow that friggin' guy in the tower and rise up and take back our rightful place on the muck and swamps above instead of the stinking holes down below. What do you say to me, brother?
You want us to run towards the bandits who've come in or away from them?
You can go away from the bandits. We'll deal with the nasty bandits. Just you go.
Okay.
Take him with you. Look.
How? My ankle broken. I'll drag him.
You'll figure something out. I pat him on the head. All right, let's go, fellas.
All right. So you learn from them. We'll chalk this up to some success here. You learn that there are bandits who have entered the mines, hoping to raid for some goods. So not heroes come to rescue the goblins. These are just good old raiders looking to take advantage of some gold and gems just laying out in the mines for them to take raw. So
Trill says, tell the guy with the busted ankle to spend a gold coin. Heal that wound.
He doesn't have any.
He doesn't have any gold.
He's an NPC. They don't have any. Actually, an NPG, non-playable goblin.
NPG, yeah.
Ooh, maybe we should add something in the rules about NPGs. Anyway, just for fun. Okay, so you know that there's bandits that are up on the upper level, which is where you were heading to. And so what do you want to do with that information? What's the next plan?
Is there any fire around us? Torches, buckets on fire for some reason.
We use explosives in the mine. That is my question.
There are torches. There are explosives, but they are kept under lock and key.
Well,
you would know where that storeroom is up on the first level. There are torches.
We also know where a dead guard is who might have keys on him. Maybe we go back and check that dead guard.
Camper back for that. That'd be not a bad idea. That's because you know, I hear explosives are pretty good at causing some total mayhem and destruction, as is on our to-do list here. So
That is true.
we could blow out whole walls with explosives.
All right, so we're gonna slink, or we're gonna. I shouldn't say slink. I should say I leave it up to. I like how if you want to kind of give direction as to what Goober does, I think that'll work well. And I'll just roll. Or if you guys want to say Goober do this, Goober do that, since I'm kind of running the GM as well. And then I'll kind of role play that and roll for it. But you guys can make decisions for how Goober ought to act. He's strong and charismatic and not as slinky and not as smart, but he's pretty average at all of it. Okay.
well, he's the middle of the road guy.
Yeah. All right. So party makes their way back to the guard who died by ring to the face.
Yep.
Hmm.
What a way to go.
And
What a way to go.
there's just blood is just like pooled around his head and it's just oozing out. It's like almost like it's a slow burn, like a slow pool of blood. That's but he's still dead.
That's good. We'll remember that when snack time comes around. Anyhow, keys.
Okay. So I'm thinking this is going to be just to kind of root around. This will be a smart to see where would the guard keep his keys. This isn't necessarily a any other thing, but it's to figure out, okay, does he have the keys? Where would they be? And could you tell if it's the right key? Kind of all combined into that idea, I think so.
I would not rely on old Mr. Scab for anything smarts related. Just to fire that out.
I think
there.
we've determined that Smelto is a smart one here. So.
I will roll smarts and see if I can locate the keys, the correct keys, in fact. Hey. Almost. That was close,
Okay.
but a success.
So we've got a success. Excellent. So you remember that due to an unfortunate incident a couple of weeks ago, where a certain guard had their keys stolen from off the keyring on its belt, the guards no longer keep their keys on their belt, but instead actually keep them inside a little keyring that's actually inside their vest. And so remembering that, you reach into the vest and you pull out the keys and also some dust and some pocket lint in there.
Good snack.
But you do have a ring of keys. Now, there's a few keys on there. We'll say there's here, let me roll. There are 3 keys.
Ooh.
So eventually you'll have to determine which key will work for the explosives room or the gated area that they are kept. But you do have the keys.
That's step 1.
Up to the explosive room.
I like where this is going. Sounds like big booms to me.
Big
As you
booms.
get back up to the mid-level,
Big bada booms.
you see the goblin with the broken ankle yanking on the chain, pulling his unconscious friend along. He's just limping along. Oh.
You're doing great, kid. Off we go.
Hey, at least you're free.
Heading down the main tunnel of the second level, you start to hear more and more commotion. You even see ahead of you, there are some forms lying on the ground. You're unable to tell if they're goblinoid, if they're guards, if there are these said bandits. But you can see some bodies, you can see some blood. So you're getting closer to danger and to the action up ahead. How would you like to proceed?
I think we might. This might require some slinking there, fellas.
Yes, let's hug the wall. And keep moving forward.
Okay.
Goober,
All right,
stop
so
trying to
since
hug the wall.
Well, it's nice and cold. Goober's not that stupid.
I know.
Just because his name's Goober.
Just because the name's Goober doesn't mean he's a
It's
goober.
not because he is a goober. It's because he has goobers. Okay, it's a different kind of goober. All right, so this is going to be we'll call it a group check, I guess. So everybody will roll a slinking.
And my cat's going to yell at me. That's okay. Ooh, mixed success for me.
Oh, one.
Oh no.
Well, we hit all 3 spots that we could.
All right, hang on. Can we spend some money to fix that?
I am.
Hey.
Yes. So this is where the spending gold can come in. So a failure can potentially.
So Goober can spend a coin
into a mixed results.
Yes.
So I'm going to take off 1 gold coin, go down to 2, and I'm going to roll a second d6. So hopefully, if I get a success on this, I can turn this failure into a mixed results. All right. So let's roll slinking again. Hey.
Hey.
So that doesn't make it a success, but it does turn a failure into a mixed results and improves it by 1, which is a lot better than failure.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Ian, here's something that come up. We said spend 1 coin to roll a second d6. I guess you can't do it more than once. It's just a one-off.
Yeah, I think it's pretty specific to roll simply a second
on
d6.
That one. You can't just roll all your gold coins and keep rolling. Yeah. So you can do that to aid somebody else. So I guess you guys could have done to aid in action, but that has to be beforehand.
I was going to say we should really specify order of operations here. You can spend a coin after a failed check to roll, or after a check you don't like the results of to roll a second one versus the aiding ahead of time.
All right, so we will specify that. But okay, so we have 2 successes. Or no, we have a mixed result, a success, and a mixed result.
Yeah.
Okay. That critical 1, however, the natural 1 being always a success, potentially a super duper success, will offset the mixed results a little bit, I think. So here's what happens. You all begin slinking, moving against the wall, trying to stick to the shadows. And you're able to stay away from some of the action. You can see as you get closer, you're kind of aiming for sort of a side tunnel off to one side, which will eventually, it's a kind of a longer route, but it'll take you away from, the hubbub of the action and up to where you want to go. And as you get closer, you can see that there is some fighting going on up there. And you're paying so much attention to slinking along the wall that Goober, unfortunately, gets a little bit too close to one of the torches. And although you are not seen by anybody up ahead and you're able to get to the side passage that you want to, Goober accidentally puts his hand right in the flame of a torch and just manages to keep his mouth shut. However, Goober is going to suffer an injury.
Ooh. No.
So Goober is wounded. Just because we haven't had any injuries yet.
No.
So I feel like we got to up the game.
True.
GM, I gotta let it be a little more crew as a good GM is, or bad GM, or whatever. Goblin Master, sorry. So Goober is wounded. From this point on, we'll have to roll 2d6. And Ian has set it up so this will auto happen in the character sheet, because amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We have an injured Goober.
So
however, you make it. Sorry.
If he completes another full scene while wounded, that wound will go away.
That is correct.
Or he can spend gold to clear it now.
That's right. We'll wait and see what happens.
Right.
He won't spend gold just yet. Okay. So You make it to the side tunnel, and it takes you a little bit longer than you want in order to get up to the main level. But the advantage is that there's not a lot of people here, because everybody seems to be running to the action. The guards are preoccupied with fighting the bandits. But not all the guards have taken this up, have rushed to danger. Some of the less brave sorts, or those who just, aren't as invested in the Beryllium's plans, have taken this opportunity of this distraction to catch a break, because the guards don't necessarily get a lot of rest either. They're not quite slaves, but it's not like they're living it up large, right? They're down in these slinky mines.
They're wage slaves. It's even worse.
Exactly. So they think that they're not slaves, but they really are. But as you walk down this passage, you come to a corner, and you just manage to hear humming coming from around the corner. And it's definitely not goblin humming, because it sounds beautiful, therefore horrible, or at least it sounds mediocre.
Really grating on the old ears. Even that.
But there is a guard around the corner, at least one, and you just kind of hear. You hear there's just a couple toots. Sounds like a guard has taken an opportunity to have a washroom break away from the washrooms.
Interesting.
Yes, Trillium. Mediocre humming. If they were ogres, that'd be amazing. That's perfect. How do you approach this?
I mean, this guy's got his pants around the ankles. So I think it's a great time to I don't know, we bum rush him and roll him into his own crap.
Was that an intentional bum rushing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Sounds like an idea.
Yes, we should definitely attack.
All right. So how do you want to do this? Cat.
Well,
stop eating my hair, you.
He's sitting on a bucket. He's vulnerable. We could knock him over and hit him over the head, or knock him over and hope he impales himself on his own ring like the last guy did. But that's probably not going to happen again.
All right, so he's humming along to himself as he is doing his business here.
Humming and dumping.
I'm wondering if old Scab here has ever encountered a magical bard in his travels and could maybe enhance that humming into something magical that will I don't put the guard to sleep, say. So we don't have to deal with this. I don't know whether this is strictly a razzle dazzle, whether it's going to cost me some gold or somewhere in between, but this is what I'm pitching.
I think this is going to cost some gold. Scab remembers a tune from a bard he heard once, a very rowdy tune that had to do with somebody eating something a little bit too spicy for them and having some unfortunate stomach side effects. Very raucous tune, very perfect for the occasion.
It was called Ring of Fire, as I recall, and
something like
it was a little something like this.
Yeah. I fell into that burning ring of fire.
That there's just too many things going around there. Too many things swirling around there.
All right, so I think this will cost you 2 coins.
Ooh.
this is a pretty magical thing to get, because you're not the one singing. You're trying to turn
I'm trying
his
to, yes.
words and manipulate it into something magical. So this is going to cost 2 coins.
I will spend that gladly.
This will give you a razzle dazzle, but we'll be generous on the. I think because I get to determine how awesome the outcome is. So a mixed result will still be a success for this. You got to spend 2 coins.
2 coins are spent. Razzle dazzle is rolled. I got a 2.
Hey.
Easy peasy.
Okay.
Doing number 2. That's what we're doing right here.
Perfect. So, Scab, you kind of close your eyes and you start humming along under your breath, kind of whistling to the tune. And your hands just kind of, out of muscle memory, just kind of trace a glyph in the air. And you hear the guard. So, yeah. To bear.
Oh.
Perfect. And it poop buckets all over him too. This is just like gravy. I mean, not really great. No, bad metaphor.
Ew.
Anyway,
was just like,
smells
good.
Explosives that way.
Turning around the corner, you do see the guard on his side, the pants fully down, pale bum up in the air, and excrement just spilled out of the bucket all over the floor.
Oh, what an image. What an image.
Now, the guard is asleep. Magically so, but asleep. And you see that in his hand, he must have been kind of flicking around or playing with a gold coin, which is laying on the ground near him.
Hey. Get that coin right back.
Yeah, well, 1 of 2 I spent. That's not bad. I'll take that discount rate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So really just trying to play out all the different scenarios here as we go through this playtest. So really just spent the 2 gold coins. Yeah. So this is an example of how you could earn gold coins during the adventure. Simple things like this where you find it laying beside a goblin or beside a guard or something else like that. Gives the opportunity to find some more gold. Okay, that guard is out cold. Mr. Poopy Pants. And the way ahead is clear. Now, you get down the hallway and up to the main level. It's kind of a snaking tunnel that turns around. One of the side service tunnels no longer used. And because it's no longer used, you get to a point where the torches have not been tended to. They are burnt out and it is dark. You come around a corner and on your way up to the main level, it is just dark. No light up ahead.
Are the torches
And no, you don't have dark vision.
Are the torches reachable by us in our goblin height?
Well, absolutely, because Goober burnt his hand on one. So
that's right.
That's fair. Yes, they're probably hung by goblins for goblins.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
The goblins do all of the hard labor down here. The guards, they're not going to lift a finger to do that. So, yes.
Well, then I hate to sound like a broken record, but I think we need to go back and grab a torch off the wall. Maybe try to relight this hallway.
Okay.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
That's like a really smart move. I never would have thought of that.
I don't want to be the one to touch it.
That's okay. I don't
want the flame.
I will touch this one. I know where to grab it and not burn myself.
So It's on the brown end, not the red end, right?
That's right. Yes, the part that seems like it's moving.
Yes.
Don't grab that part. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
think muscle.
Grab the cold part with the other side.
I think with that in mind, fearing potentially more fire, Goober is going to spend a gold coin to remove his injury.
Mm,
Ah.
So I will go down to 1 gold coin,
that's
and I will
probably
mark myself back as healthy. All right. So Smelto, you're going to grab one of the torches.
Torch off the wall.
Very easy to do.
If
Now-
I try to light one of the torches in the dark hallway, does it relight, or do I just have to walk with this torch now?
So with the torch in your hand, these torches are very greasy, smoky, oily. Dirty rags wrapped around, wooden end. Beryllium is cheap,
Of course.
keeps all the wealth for himself, and so he's not going to invest in, the really
Mhm.
good torches.
Of course.
These are ones that create a lot of smoke and kind of, very oily. They don't burn clean. So as you pick it up off the wall, it's kind of the smoke is, not pleasant to smell. Even for a goblin, it's kind of adds a bit too much.
Mm.
You enjoy a good charred, smoky smell, but there's a limit, right? Now, the torches that are on the wall up ahead are spent. They're burnt out.
Ah, okay.
You don't know if that's because they just haven't been lit, or they've been they've expired, they've exhausted. So you'll have to figure that out.
I will try to light the first one that we come across.
Okay. Give me a razzle dazzle to convince convince the torch to light. There's a brief flicker as what's some of the cloth that's remaining there tries to catch, and it lasts for a couple seconds and then just turns to smoke.
Mm.
So there's nothing left of these torches to light. They basically were left to burn out and then just never replaced.
These torches is burnt out. We're gonna have to walk with.
Yeah, you can see that. You gonna carry that one for us all the way up?
Sure.
I ain't gonna touch it. I don't like fire now.
All right. I will carry this torch the whole way until we find something that I can light it with.
So, the good news is that you have light in the darkness. The bad news is that you are now a moving light, which could potentially alert anyone up above within the darkness or beyond to your presence.
It's true. True.
As you walk through the darkness towards the main used area of the mines, where the guard outpost is, where the all the supplies and stuff are going to be kept, including the explosives. You're walking quietly as you can, still trying to be, not super loud, with torch in hand. And you come to a bit of an opening, a larger chamber, where it looks like it looks like there was, they tried to excavate a couple tunnels, and then, hit some harder rock and realized there's not going to be any veins in there, and so gave up. So these are like half tunnels. They just kind of opened and then they gave up and moved on. On the ground against the wall on one side, taking advantage of the darkness, is a creature that you've heard of in the mines. Rumors of these creatures being in the mines, but you've never seen them. They're known to inhabit the darker areas of the mines. There is a troglodyte catching a nap. And you come around the corner with your torch in hand and stop and freeze as you see the troglodyte. Big, ugly snout, bulbous eyes. They're kind of rolled back as it's snoring. Gross, clawed hands, humpy shoulders, just kind of. What do you do?
Well, for starters, when you type in troglodyte into search engines, you get pictures of birds. So that's not what a troglodyte is.
What?
I just typed in troglodyte and it's mostly birds. Apparently there is a bird called a troglodyte.
No.
I don't know.
It's a buff lizard man is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I typed in 5E afterwards and then now, okay, I see what it is. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're like lizard men who are like grotesque and live in.
I'm particularly fond of the AD&D Monster Manual troglodytes because some of those 1970s pictures are just fantastic in all the wrong ways.
Yep. So there's a Trogo. What do you want to do?
Well,
again, these have a reputation for being mean and vicious, and they're rumored. You know, they're the myth. They're the creature in the dark. Ah, there you go.
So derpy looking.
Yes, they are.
Trogloderp.
Trogloderp. Well,
much more grotesque and cave-ish looking than that fellow there.
Well, he's currently sleeping, huh?
Yeah.
So we can just like slink on by and keep on going on our merry way. I'm content to slink. I don't want to tussle with this fella.
I think we should slink.
Okay.
Very quietly.
This is going to require all three.
Pizzicato violins. Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. What? Can I give us a little bit of success? Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, I've got 3 coins, so I think I'm going to be spending a coin to deal with that or to get...
Okay, so you have a mixed result.
So you can, so you'd re-roll for a success.
Turn it into success.
Okay, so now I roll it again after I remove a coin?
Yes.
Hey, wow, that was only one better.
So, success on the re-roll improves your previous roll by 1 grade.
Great.
I will do the same. I'll spend a coin and I will re-roll slinking and fail. So
and we
that
determine what happens on that?
I think it just doesn't work.
Right, because we didn't say you have to take. This isn't like rolling when you're injured.
Yeah, it just
simply doesn't work.
Yeah, all it says is it just tells you what happens if you have a success.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
So I'm still stuck with my mixed, but that's.
And I have a failure. And even though I have 1 gold coin left, I think at this point it's going to be worth spending it to try and turn it into at least a mixed success, because failure with this Trogo ain't gonna be good. So I will spend a gold coin. And no,
another 5. Goober, you're fired.
So we have mixed result, success, and failure.
Whole gamut. That's
So Smelto,
Mm-hmm.
ironically, with the one holding the torch, manages to quickly scamper rather quietly. Dun, 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 dun. Peter Griffin. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Right to the other side of the cave, and you get behind the wall. You realize that you jumped ahead of the game and you left your companions behind. So you have made it. Scab, you're like, oh crap, he's going already. I can't see. So you start to go to kind of, slink ahead, and you get to the other side. But as you get to the other side, you let out a loud whew.
Yep, that
And
sounds
as
about right.
Goober is trying to slowly make his way across, and he hears you go, phew, and he looks up at you and gets distracted and kicks a stone and goes, ow! And the troglodyte. Goblin, my favorite snack. Rushes out from the wall and gets a swipe at Goober before he can pull away. So Goober is now wounded again from that failure. Manages to catch up to 3 of you. However, you now have a troglodyte that is awake. Seems a little bit groggy still. Do you run or do you fight? Or do you try to convince him not to attack? What do you want to do?
I think I want to try to... Well, I don't have good razzle-dazzle, but I'm using my smarts for this. There are tastier snacks attacking the tower right now. You don't want to eat us. We're all stringy. We've been working forever. There's nothing on us. There are better snacks outside, and we'll take you to them.
I think that is more of a razzle-dazzle, though.
Yep. I understand.
You're trying to persuade a not very bright creature.
It's true.
They're not known for their intelligence. They're hungry, and you're an immediate snack. You're right in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not smart enough to figure out, oh, well, yes, I could go up there and snack on those other delectable creatures. He sees a meal right in front of him, and you're trying to persuade him to find a bigger meal in simple words that he can understand. So this is definitely going to be a razzle-dazzle for Smelto.
I have to roll a 1 just for the record.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether to help
if
you.
Scab has any coins, you could aid him.
I could, or I could just save that to help clean up the mess afterwards.
True.
So let me just reread the rules. Is there... so I can only spend a coin if I fail.
So you can spend a coin
result.
if you don't like the result.
Okay.
I can spend a coin ahead of time to give you a
help me.
second die.
Or if, Mike, if you want to try and do something incredible or magical or nigh impossible. So it doesn't necessarily have to be magic. It could be just so persuasive. Like you want to up your game and be amazing. You can spend a number of coins.
Yes, GM determine number of coins.
Yeah. So you tell me what you would like to try.
To
add to it.
You could barter with the GM some coins to make it a smarts roll rather than razzle dazzle.
Yeah, that's true.
You're trying to appeal to his intellect rather than his baser instincts.
Yeah. So I'll say if you want to make it a smarts roll,
you'll
need to spend 1 gold.
So I have.
That's a pretty good.
I currently have 2. I could spend 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the difference between rolling on a 5 versus a 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
So basically, this is something incredible in that you intelligently figure out a way to dumb it down so much that the troglodyte can understand you.
Fat humans outside, skinny goblins inside. Go.
Yeah.
We're gamey.
So go ahead and roll smarts then.
Okay. Hey.
A 2.
That would have been a mixed even on your razzle dazzle, to be fair. But
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was still a wise spend nonetheless.
Yep. Good call. Good
All
call.
right. So what do you tell this troglodyte? In very smart, stupid words.
You don't want to eat us. We're all gamey and stringy from working so many hours. There's not much meat left on these bones. Outside, though, there's a fight with big, meaty people, and they're all distracted. And you can get one with very little effort.
Bones.
Yes.
Meat. I like meat.
Meat.
If no
Bones.
meat, I come
Bones.
back for bones.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Slinks off.
We wait
Starts
right
picking up
here.
speed. You hear it running up the curving tunnel, and from somewhere up above, a few minutes later, you hear, "Ah! What the? Ah!" Big growls and sword hacks. What the heck is that? Okay, not too bad. So we got a wound out of that, not death. Some gold coins spent. Goober's bleeding again. A nice big scratch down his side. I don't like this plan.
Walk it off, kid. Let's go.
Nothing to change of scenery won't fix.
All right. So you get to a relatively safe area, and you can hear a lot of the action going on. The bandits are still, attacking. The guards are preoccupied. You hear a booming voice from outside. It sounds like Beryllium has caught wind of what's going on. He's potentially using some of his magic or something else to interfere. He's a mystery. You guys, you've never really met him. You just know that he's out there. He's the one controlling all these things. But it's not like you're on a first name basis or anything with him. He's that crazy dude up in the tower who's running all the things. So you just know that he's getting involved in things. So it's a little bit more serious than perhaps you thought. Perfect opportunity to cause some chaos. So you have an opportunity, but a decision to make. There's a spot where you could rest, lick some water off of the walls, to quench your thirst, perhaps heal some wounds. But it might mean that by the time you get up to where all the explosives are, that things will have died down and it might be harder to sneak in, but you'll be better prepared for it. Or you could rush ahead with no gold, wounds, but probably find it a little bit less guarded. So this is kind of how do you want to do this?
What was that rushing ahead thing again? Yeah. Scab is definitely a goblin of action.
Mm-hmm.
Also not really considering the greater implications of his actions. So yes, we are dead set on getting some explosives. Let's go get that.
Smelto still has a gold, so he's good to go.
All right.
Also, that's the smart thing to do. Catch them with their, well, as we've already discovered, catch them with their pants around their ankles.
Uh-huh.
Well, Goober doesn't want to be left in the dark by himself.
Attaboy, Goober.
So he'll just follow along begrudgingly, I guess. All right, let's take this opportunity for a quick break. However, even though the goblins aren't breaking, we will for a couple minutes, and then we'll be right back as we pick it up in the final stretch of this scenario here as you make your way to the top
This
level.
epic tale. Come on, this is
yes, where the
goblin
are. So,
heroism.
This is going to become
so
a
Hekkin
trilogy of
Goblins will
movies.
Yes, Hekkin Goblins will be right back. Don't you Hekkin go anywhere. Hekkin stay put. We'll be Hekkin back soon.
Heck yeah.
yeah, we're back. There's some Hekkin Goblins.
Heckin' right.
All right. So we were just talking during the break that yeah, it's the whole feel of this game is supposed to be just very loose, kind of open, and you could just sit down, you're bored and be like, I don't know, need something to do. We got a couple dice, sit down and just throw this together and play. So it seems to be working out well for that as we just make stuff up. So cool. That's good. So our three goblins, Goober, Smelto, and Scab, are on their way up through the mines, heading towards the cage where the explosives are kept, so that they can just cause total mayhem and destruction and bring this whole operation down, taking advantage of the raiders that have come invading the mines, hoping to snag some loot, which has occupied the guards who are trying to fight off the raiders, and has caught the attention of Beryllium, the cult leader, up in his tower as well. And so with all the distractions and mayhem going on, it's a perfect opportunity for three ne'er-do-well goblins to do some ne'er-do-welling and do it well, hopefully. So you make your way up to the upper level of the mine, choosing not to rest, but needing speed, needing to get there and make sure that you can take advantage of the distraction. And so you find the upper level, and you come once again to an area that is more well lit. There are torches around, and there is just blood, bodies, some goblins, some guards, some bandits who appear to be hobgoblins, perhaps, or some other creature. Despite the commonality in names, no friends to goblins at all. So there's just, you see a lot of chaos. Every now and then you see somebody run down the hall up ahead, chased by somebody else. You do see a few groups of goblins kind of just like chained together, just slumped up against a wall, waiting for the time to pass. They kind of look at you as you come up. They stare at you, look down at your feet, see that you have no chains on. And one of them just gets a big grin. Yeah. What are you guys up to?
Uprising, brother. Let's do this.
Oh yeah. Get us out of these chains and we'll do whatever we can help.
All right. Sure, they can't miss twice, right? Gonna get the pickaxe ready and
say, Scab, now make sure you don't do the thing you did last time, right?
What thing?
Oh, nothing. You're totally good. Scab, go for it.
All right,
cool.
Is this guts?
Yeah.
Guts, here we go. And
Oh no.
Well,
So not even a mixed result.
Nope. Let's
Straight
see.
up
There's
fail.
two ways I can go about this. I could spend my last coin to re-roll that versus a 3. Or I could wait to get injured off of that and spend my coin to clear my injury. I will spend my coin to re-roll that because I'm feeling generous to these poor chained up guys. Hey, there we go. Now I got a mixed result.
Mixed result. Okay. So you don't break the guy's ankle this time. And you do manage to get the shackle busted. But just one. And as you smash down, you break the shackle, the head of your pickaxe goes flying off. And the wood handle snaps and breaks. So one is free, but your pick is toast.
I'll hand him the handle and say, you saw what I did. Get to work on the rest of them.
screw that. Tosses the handle, and the one that you're free just like runs off down the hallway screaming.
You worthless son of a. Anywho,
That is not how I saw that going, but all right.
The other two just kind of look at you and just go.
I hand them my broken pieces of pickaxe. Say, you guys can figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Good luck doing whatever.
Oh,
it is
and
you're up to.
You might want to cover your ears in about 5 minutes.
You might want to be out of here in 5 minutes.
Oh, we're still underground. Yeah, get the hell out of here.
they kind of catch what you're saying. They're like, oh crap! Start like really trying to get the chains off. All right.
To the explosives. Smelto says out loud.
Yes.
To the explosives, I raise my glass. Wait, what?
What was that? All right. You start. How are we proceeding here? Are we running? Are we scampering? Are we slinking? You're in a more populated, like there's not as many people around as there would be, but there's a lot of activity like adjacent to where you are, and people could be coming at any moment because you've seen people run by. There's goblins around. It's more well lit. So are we just booking it? Are we slinking ahead?
I think it's time to throw caution to the wind. I can certainly talk us out of any situation that might arise. Let's just get there before reinforcements get there.
I agree.
Okay.
There's enough noise, we can just get lost in the sound.
All right. Goober scoops down and picks up one broken half of the chain, wraps it around his hand, and just goes, hey, let's do this. All right. You start running down the hallway. And as you're running, a couple of guards chasing bandits come passing from a cross tunnel. One of them keeps going, running after the hobgoblins. One of them kind of stops and pulls up and looks and sees you. And you're only about like 10 feet away, kind of gets eyes open and reaches down and started going for the sword. What do you do?
They went that way. I'm just gonna try and distract him with there's something coming to the other end, something coming from the other direction.
So you're gonna razzle dazzle?
I'm gonna try and yes, and so we can just blow by him before he can draw on us.
So as you razzle dazzle, try to distract him, get that extra moment. I think Goober is gonna try and take advantage of that and use his chain fist to break this guy's face.
Well, more power to him. Let's see if I can do it first. I got to roll a.
Hey,
a two is pretty good.
All right. So where are you pointing?
Back. I sort of over his shoulder. Say, "Oh my God, what's that?" Directly behind him.
Turns and looks, sees there's nothing, and as turning back with that distraction, Goober's gonna roll up with a big old guts check here. That's a mixed success.
Uh-oh.
Are we saying goodbye to Goober?
We might be saying goodbye to Goober here.
Well, yeah, because
But it's not
Goober's already
necessarily an
wounded.
injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's already wounded.
We did pretty well considering he's wounded. That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So I think at this point, yeah, Goober comes flying in, connects with the guard in the face, nose gets crunched in. And you see that moment where the bone is breaking the brain cavity. But there's that moment before the guard dies where just like gets on its hand on a sword, just takes a big slash right up Goober, and they both fall together. Your friend Goober has hit the snot bucket, kicked the snot bucket.
Well, on the upside, we'll be sending him off in a blaze of glory in a couple of minutes.
It's now time
Indeed.
for me to warn my goblin. I'd get
And go
snacks
get
for
us
everyone else,
snacks.
but I can't give them to you, so I'll eat my snacks. I'll now focus on GMing. So you see as Goober takes out the guard, but you see him fall, and he doesn't get up. As he lands on top of the guard, and you just hear it. And there's blood
He was a good
Well,
goblin.
I'm not super gutsy, but I'll sure as hell grab that sword.
Okay. You now have a sword.
I think Cooper had the right idea with them chains. I might not have a lot of muscle, but maybe I can whip them.
You like take the chains off your dead friend's
Oh, yeah.
hand.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yep, you're a goblin.
Only half
Gotta be
wrap around
practical.
my hand, and so I got a little bit of length to whip with.
And do a little war paint with his blood on your face, maybe that'd be.
Mixed. It's half blood, half snot. You know.
Yep.
Very. Yeah. He was a goob goblin indeed.
Yeah.
Very gooby.
A very goob goblin.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a goob guy.
Oh,
All right.
well, yes. So what we're doing is we're doing war paint like snot bloodlines out of our nostrils.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's in honor.
There you go. And fittingly for the goblin with the huge schnoz, he died breaking somebody's schnoz. So
Yeah.
There you
wonderful.
go.
Good way to go. All right, we're down to 2.
And I'm broke. How about you?
I got one,
This is going great.
but neither of us
All
are
right.
wounded yet.
I was gonna say we're both healthy.
Yeah, we got 2 strikes.
Fit as an ox.
Healthy.
I got a sword.
Yep. You got to pronounce it sword though.
I got a sword.
a sword.
Yeah. I got the sword here. All right, you guys are still in the thick of things. One guard is down. The other guard from that pair has run off after the hobgoblins. And you can see your prize up ahead now. There's sort of the main area where sort of the main gathering area, where the mine carts and stuff are offloaded, where gangs are staged each day. There's provisions on one side. There are packets of tools and all that stuff in one corner, and then there's the cage where the picks are kept, where the explosives, anything that can be used as a weapon or the like, is all kept in there. And at the moment, it appears to be unguarded.
Now's our chance. Smelto will just start running.
Yeah, no, let's do this.
All right.
Sword up.
Okay. As you get to the cage, you see down the tunnel leading to the exit, still a bit a ways off, but you see a couple of hobgoblins, 2 of them. And they're just sauntering in, looking around. They appear to be late to the party, or probably, knowing them as you do, they probably like held back, waited until others died, and then they decided, okay, now's our chance. Now we're going to come in. They haven't spotted you yet, but they are slowly making their way towards the main area, towards
And they're
where you
between
are.
us and the way we want to be going after we set the fuse on the munitions dump here, right? All right.
Are there rails running throughout these tunnels?
There are, on this level, there are a couple of tunnels that have rails.
Are the hobgoblins in a tunnel that has a rail?
No, they don't go
Darn.
out. They come to this area where things are offloaded. And then
Okay.
there's like there's not a lot. Again, beryllium's cheap. So
I say TNT minecart is it's a thing.
That.
so you have a ring of 3 keys. You have a locked gate in front of you with explosives on the other side. You have 2 hobgoblins approaching from far off down a tunnel.
All right. I will secure a minecart for us to load up with explosives to roll at the hobgoblins.
So they're so what I was saying, the tracks don't go out.
Oh, okay.
They go down. So they come from the mines up to this spot.
Okay. So,
So where the tunnel,
Oh.
where they're coming from the exit, like out to the surface.
all right. So we'll load up the minecart to send down the mines and keep a couple of sticks of dynamite to blow up the hobgoblins. That's the.
Okay.
A couple grenades to chuck at them.
Yeah. Whatever we can find.
At least blow the tunnel so they can't get to us.
But
Okay.
then we couldn't get out. They're between us and the exit.
All right.
That's a good
So,
point.
Scab, in order to determine which one of the mine carts is going to be best to use, what's in the best condition, and which will cause the most damage, I'm going to get you to give me a smarts.
Oh, you sure are. Hey, that's about as good as I can do.
Mixed
Okay.
result. Yeah.
So the only one you find that will serve your purposes will run down what you know to be the main tunnel, and will eventually link up with one of the few vertical shafts in the mine, which dropping explosives down there will cause all kinds of fun and chaos. The only problem is that this minecart has 3 working wheels and 1 little bit of wobbly one. So you find a cart that'll lead to the right direction, but it could be in better shape. Not too bad though.
Right.
Could be worse. Now,
Keys.
Smelto, you have 3 keys, and they all look pretty identical to you. And there's 1 keyhole.
Well, I will, I guess, try the first key. Or do I need to figure this out before I try them?
So you're under pressure
Mm-hmm.
because there are 2 hobgoblins incoming. Time is of the essence. So you're going to have to make a best guess. You look at the keys and try to match which one best suits the hole that you see in front of you. So this is going to be a smarts.
Okay.
On the upside, that's a good roll for you. Oh my god.
I will burn my last coin, and I will roll again to make this a mixed result. Come on. Okay.
Oh, piece
So
of
it's
cake.
a mixed result.
A mixed result.
Wow.
You picked the right key,
Oh, here we go.
and you managed to get the gate open. But in your haste, as you're pulling the gate open, you kind of shake it a little bit too much, and then kind of rattles, and it catches the hobgoblin's attention. They now look up. They see what you're doing. They look at each other, kind of elbow each other, and they're not running, but you see them pick up their pace a little bit. They're very confident. They're very cocky creatures, and so you see them just like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun, ain't it?" And they're striding directly in your path now towards you.
I would like to grab, assuming there's sticks of TNT.
Yep.
I would like to
Let's go with
grab
it.
2 sticks of TNT. I'm going to use my torch to light the fuse. I'm going to toss them to Scab and say, block their tunnel.
Well, I'll just chuck them at them. That'll also block them. That'll also stop them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna try and block the main entrance. You're just gonna chuck the.
Well, I'm just going to chuck them at the hobgoblins. We'll sort it out what that means to us later.
Yep.
Okay. So this is definitely going to be a guts to see how far you can throw.
Okay.
Please don't fail. We're dead.
Hey,
Yes, a mixed result.
Mixed result. Okay. So with a mixed result, you have 2 of them, right?
Yep.
Yep.
You lob the first one, and it falls a little bit short. Lands closer to sort of where the tunnel meets the main area. You're like, oh crap. You compensate for that and chuck the second one, manage to get it much closer. And you just see as it's landing, and you see the hobgoblins see it coming in, look at it and go, oh, and turn to run. As the first one blows up, the shock wave from it knocks you guys over. Doesn't hurt you, but it knocks you over. There's rubble falling everywhere. You've definitely got the attention of anybody else around at this point.
Sure.
But from beyond that, you do your whereas the second one blows up. So you've definitely taken up the 2 hobgoblins.
Yes.
but there are now rocks falling. You hear some shouts from somewhere echoing off the walls.
All right,
The
load the rest of it.
explosives! They've got the explosives! To the
As much
cage!
as we can quickly get into that mine cart,
Yep. I'm
drop the torch in and give it a kick, and then run the other way.
Okay, so you've lit as much as you can, and you just
Yep.
tossing it in. Okay.
Maybe the two of us get behind it and run with it a little bit, and then give it a shove.
I was gonna say, give me a combined guts.
Combined guts. All right.
Here
I'm probably failing.
To put all your strength.
I need a 1.
Yeah, the strong one's dead. So
yeah. Oh, I failed.
So did I.
okay.
And that ends our story.
No,
we're both healthy.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So it takes a lot of effort. You didn't think the whole thing through, and like, oh yeah, loading this thing up with explosives, that makes it heavier.
Mm-hmm.
So failing to compensate for that, you both injure yourselves in pushing it. We'll say Scab, you twist an ankle, and Smelto, you dislocate your shoulder.
Oof.
As you're struggling, it takes you more than effort than you realized to get it rolling, but you do manage to succeed. And it is a little bit wobbly, remember? So it's like that's part of what took you a little bit of effort to get it going, but it starts to wobble as it starts to pick up speed. You watch as it wobbles a little bit, and like a couple on its way down, like one stick of dynamite falls out, another one falls out, and they're lit, so they're gonna blow up closer, but it's on its way. However, you are now both injured.
Yep.
The exit of the mine is collapsing. It isn't fully blocked, but it is collapsing. And you hear shouts coming from other hallways.
Yeah, it's time to get the hell out of here, buddy. Let's make for the exit.
Smelto's going to grab 2 more sticks of dynamite. He's not going to light them. He's going to grab 2 more sticks and then follow behind Scab.
Okay. So I think this is going to be, it's not necessarily slinking, but it's more speed, which I guess would kind of fall.
Yeah, sort of
that.
On that border between guts and slinking, right? Depending on whether we're being dexterous or.
I'll give you the choice. I think you guys can either roll guts or slinking as you.
Oh, sorry, slinking.
As you run injured, trying to get out of the mines before.
Oh, wounded slinking check. There we go.
A, before it blows up. B, before the rocks fall on your head from the mistossed TNT.
All right, here we go.
I'm rolling slinking. Oh, jeez.
Damn.
I succeeded.
Oh, got it. Pair of 3s. Nicely done. I rolled a 2 and a 5.
So. Oh, yeah, Mike, you got to roll 2. Or did it automatically?
It did. It did roll 2, yeah.
Okay.
Pair of 3s.
Yeah.
So, Smelto, you're booking it. You've got a dislocated shoulder. You can run a little bit easier. You just start running. You manage to dodge out of the way of some of the falling rocks, and you hear from behind you. What's the last thing that Scab says as he trips?
Crap.
As you hear from behind you, crap, and it's cut off as Scab trips and falls and is unable to dodge out of the way of a rock falling right on his head, collapsing his skull. Smelto, you run. You get to the exit. You hear from deep below you. Shockwave comes rushing out of the mine, throwing debris, pelting everywhere. but you survived. You stand up, brush yourself off, look around, and look up to see Beryllium on his balcony staring down at you. He raises one eyebrow. And that's the end. Alto potentially lives to fight another day. Unfortunately, we say goodbye to Scab and Goober, who died in true goblin fashion. And thus ends our first playtest of Hekkin Goblins.
Hekkin Goblins, man. Blowing up mines, knocking people over.
Those Hekkin Goblins. Well, that was perfectly chaotic, which is exactly what we were going for with this game. That is definitely our intent, is to have just lots of fun, very loose ruled chaos with just enough structure to kind of give you the mechanics to get through, for the checks and things that are needed, and the rest would just be out there. But I think that was fun.
Yeah.
Mike, what any closing thoughts on your experience with the current form of Hekkin Goblins? Anything you weren't sure of, or like?
No, I enjoyed it.
Question.
The rules were really simple. It was a very clear understanding of what we had to do, and it's nice that it's
Awesome.
kind of like it's not confusing. Like the GM has a lot of ability to just be like, this is what it is, or this is what happens, and it's not like you're not like, well, what does the rules say? It's just kind of, well, this is what I want to do, and then the GM just gets to decide, okay, this is how it happens, or roll, and then this is how it happens. I like it. It's fun. It's fun because it could be long, it could be short, be whatever time you have. Yeah, I like it.
Well, and I think we the idea in mind is that it's a one-off, but it could be more. So if, for example, Smelto could return.
Yep.
He survived. So, and depending on the scenario, so Smelto could come back. Hekkin
Goblins 2, Smelto's Revenge.
Exactly. He who Smelto deltoed. So you could survive and roll a second an add-on. You could chain the events together, or just have it as one thing. Ian, any thoughts on?
I'm happy with the rate at which we spent our gold coins. Like both of it, the ones that died were broke, and that's why they died.
Yeah.
So it's not like as long as that is, we need to make sure that we encourage that, because I know the one thing that we do in Pathfinder with the hero points is that people sometimes just sit on them knowing that they can use them to come back from death. So,
yeah.
Well, and it's kind of nice that the GM can decide, like, okay, you can do that, but it's going to cost you coins. So it's not just up to the players to decide to spend the coins, but the GM will actually, not force them, but give them different reasons with which to use the coins.
Yeah. No, that's incentives to spend them is great.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the very, very simple. You're either healthy or you're not, or you're dead, and that's kind of it. That worked pretty well. Even just the different stat arrays, we saw that each character had, we had a couple of guys who had, strong points and weak points, and then Goober was kind of in the middle of the camp, and he was able to pull off more stuff because he was that middle guy. He was the go-to. So it all worked pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think that's good. The different stat array there it does actually give you that variety and that option to, you're not getting such a discrepancy in min max, and like you've got the barbarian versus the wizard kind of, but you've got at least enough of a variance in what kind of goblins you can roll up, and the ability to just, like we said, that you can just put them wherever you want.
Yeah. I think another thing we might want to do in the text is to encourage, if you have, with multiple players, make sure that you use multiple arrays rather than everyone loading up on the min-max or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Not
that's
to
a
say
good
you
point.
can't do it, but just sort of recommend that if you have 3 players, use all 3 arrays, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think one thing that came up, the question that maybe we need to clarify more is what. So with the injuries, for example, what defines a scene?
Oh yeah, because I wasn't sure. That was the only thing, is I wasn't sure where a scene was or wasn't.
So maybe we need to clarify that a little bit more somehow. Is like a scene, or just give an example, like a scene, for example, because the whole thing is a session. What constitutes a scene, right?
Like, would the original locked up behind a cage at the bottom of the tower be a scene? We killed that guard, go up the stairs. Is that end scene? Next scene starts at the next level? Or
That's my feeling. Is that kind of
Yeah.
right? Right. As soon as we have stopped. As soon as there's a narrative break, basically, as soon as Craig is suddenly describing a new room or a new situation, that feels like, right?
Yeah.
So like even a scene, just like the next area.
Yeah.
We can maybe clarify it that way. So from once you move on to the next goal, next area, whatever.
Yes, the next narrative point. Yeah, whatever.
That's what starts a new scene. Okay. I think like we said, like we all felt that was kind of naturally where that was going, but just to clarify that would be.
But that's definitely got to be up to the
what it
GM, because you might walk into a room that has 2 adjoining rooms that technically would be new descriptors, but might be part of the main room, and so those wouldn't be separate scenes, the side rooms, but they're part of that main room.
Yeah.
Are you understanding what I'm saying? Like,
if there's if there's an active threat that's right there, or an active element, narrative element that's so close that it can still be considered part of the same thing that's happening, right? The same chapter almost. So okay, yeah. So we maybe we can just we'll just clarify that language up a little bit, but I think otherwise naturally, it seemed to.
Oh, Trill has a thought on that. She says maybe a scene change is around the time when you would drop initiative in a game that has initiative. Maybe the initiative, like a typical initiative marker would be a new scene, or
that's exactly the idea. So as we don't have initiative, it's when you're actively making checks for something, that's sort of the scene, right? Is it involves every scene involves checks. I think so. The scene, you can even say a scene lasts up until the point where you have to roll or you have to make checks. And then after the outcome of those checks and you've moved on, like you said, like there's a narrative break between that check and what happens next. That's the start of a new scene, because that check, you've dealt with the success or failure. You've rounded that up. Okay, here's the outcome. And now we're moving on to outcome happened. What's next? So once there we go. We could say once you've determined the outcome of that scenario, of the checks for that scenario, now you're moving on to another scene.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that is declared openly by the GM, just so that all the players at the table understand. Okay, we're entering a new scene because there's things that happen. Yeah, because there's scenes that there are things that happen at the change of a scene.
Clock is now ticking on the wound. Or now's the time to spend your coin if you want to resolve it.
Yeah. So we can put in the GM section, Goblin Master, we can put in suggestive, like, not that you must declare a scene change, but
it is helpful.
It's helpful to indicate when the scene is changing, such as saying this. And I could probably cut out that example scenario or cut it back a little bit, and because we don't want to make it a third page, we want to keep it short to the point. So cool.
You could even just reduce the size of the text on that example scenario. Just bring it down a little bit. It gives you a little bit of space to put in a paragraph about scene change.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was a lot of fun. I had fun.
Yeah.
Going through it. I think we got a good amount of information overall, I think I'm on board with you. And I think I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. I think
Mhm.
got something decent here. So we'll I'd like to run another playthrough with it. Maybe have some new brains, some new goblins get involved, Trillium, some other people, and
Maybe
not-
next time Devin's traveling, we can send him with a paper copy and they can play it on the plane.
that's
Hey,
true.
yeah, we can get him to do some
Yeah.
playtesting.
Well, we can do that. Like, yeah, if maybe in our Discord, we can just share the PDF with who's in our Discord and say, hey, if you feel like helping us out playtesting, get your name in the credit for the playtest there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Go and play this with some people and see how it rolls and give us your feedback on how it all turns out. I think that's a good idea. All right. Well, I think that will end it for tonight then, earlier than streams usually, but it's a natural way to close it out. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you're watching this in the VOD after and you have some thoughts or ideas based on what you've seen, then please do share them with us. You can do that by leaving comments or join our Discord. You can find the links to all that stuff at our Linktree /elderbrain. And you can be part of the playtest. You can share ideas with us, give us feedback, all that good stuff. And we'd really appreciate that. But until next time, playing whatever it is we're playing, depending on availability, we will see you then. So, heckin' good night.
Bye.
Good night.